drawing to a close, and I just want to sort of reassure those who are on this discussion that the questions that we've been receiving, I've been grouping them under themes and paraphrasing them and putting them to the panelists, to Alan and to Iraj, and I hope that that I've done justice to the questions that you raised. If not, I sincerely apologize, but I tried to reflect as best I could the kinds of concerns that were coming up and the questions that were coming up. So in sort of conclusion, I'm going to put it to both Alan and to Iraj and ask them to perhaps look into the sort of future, if that's sort of possible, because of course everyone is anxious to sort of know when are we coming out of this, how long will this go on for, how long will it take for the economy to start growing again. Of course, it's not an exact science, but I think that with the experience that you both have and your involvement in these issues, so a bit of sort of crystal ball gazing. And then I also really want to thank African Bank, who sponsoring this this live discussion, and we're really appreciative of African Bank for realizing the importance of these kinds of engagements and stepping forward. So we want to acknowledge them. But if you want to do a little bit of sort of crystal ball gazing, Iraj, we'll sort of start with you, and then Alan, because I think people really want to have some sort of sense that there is a light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah, thank you very much once again, and thank for everybody to be on here on this webinar. In terms of predicting how quickly and how we will get out, there is nothing automatic. Is it a disaster? Not really. We've got an opportunity to reimagine, restructure our economy. I am quietly optimistic that this crisis has paved the way for us to rebuild and rejuvenate our manufacturing sector and pay attention to some of our structural, logistical, meaning water, energy, urban infrastructure, human and health issues. So if we pay attention to that, this year obviously we'll have a contraction, without a doubt, close to 10% of the GDP. But from next year, if it's a big if we begin to implement what needs to be done now, we will have actually from next year onwards relatively robust growth, because our economy was in a dip. We went deeper and deeper into the ditch, and we can come up from a very low base relatively consistently, provided we do the planning as I've been suggesting, and Alan I think confirmed that they're applying their mind to it, and then we will have a different economy, and the crisis would have been used to deal with some of our structural issues.
Thanks, Iraj. That's really reassuring. Alan?
Yeah, that conforms to some of the modelling that I've seen as well. So I think Iraj is right, and I'm pretty, and I hope he is. We could grow a little faster next year than we have in the many years back. I think what we need to do is, as he said, and I think as we have to emphasize, is build on what we've achieved here. I think that the level that people have learned to live in a different way, they've learned to work in a different way, they've learned to depend on each other in different ways, they've learned new values, they've learned new ways of thinking about what's important. And I do think that the opportunities for building a cooperative society where there's greater trust in the future has put us, in a position where if we are able to take advantage of that, we could really move out of the terrible slump that we've been in, not in the last 2 or 3 years, but in fact, since effectively 2010, we've had a deteriorating economic performance. And I think this is an opportunity for us to get out of that. And I'm hopeful and positive about the way we can move forward.
Thank you very much, Alan, and thank you, Iraj, and everyone else who tuned in. I hope you found this interesting. I hope that you learned some new insights, a deeper understanding, a deeper appreciation, some hope, some optimism, and just to thank the team behind the scenes. Who provide all the sort of technological infrastructure, background, our information, communication technology people at the University of Cape Town. They do a great job able to accommodate all of you on the platform. And thank our summer school colleagues for putting on this exciting webinar series. There'll be a few more. We'll be looking at issues on leadership in crisis, on governance, on ethics. We're also going to look at the pandemic from the perspective of health. Some of the interventions, responses in terms of development of vaccines, and some of those issues as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. We'll give you, you'll get advance notice. Please look out for these. There'll be at intervals of 2 weeks, and we really look forward to having you back as we continue our discussions around COVID-19. Thank you very much, and go well and keep safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.